Module 4. Ethics and Other Aspects of Society. Business Ethics. Business ethics is a complex study in itself, and we have an entire course on them. But we'll briefly touch on business ethics here as well. Business ethics encompasses the financial rights and obligations of various stakeholders of a business, organization, or community. These include employers, employees, and consumers. Employers have the responsibility to provide fair wages, safe working conditions, and equal opportunities for employees. Employees have the right to fair treatment, non-discrimination, and a healthy work environment, but also duties of loyalty and honest work to their employers and to safeguard the interests of their consumers. Consumers have the right to receive accurate information, fair pricing, and safe products or services, but also the duties to treat producers fairly in business. Balancing these rights and obligations is essential for ethical business practices. Traditional approaches to business rights and obligations range from laissez-faire capitalism, where minimal government intervention is preferred, to governmental control, where regulations are implemented to protect societal interests. These approaches reflect differing views on the role of businesses in society, the extent of individual freedom, and the need for social responsibility. Ethical considerations arise when determining the appropriate level of regulation and the balance between economic prosperity and ethical standards. Ethics play a significant role in advertising practices and addressing issues such as harassment in the workplace. Advertisers have an ethical responsibility to provide truthful, transparent, and non-deceptive advertising to consumers. Violations of advertising standards can mislead or manipulate consumers, compromising their autonomy and well-being. Sexual harassment in the workplace is a pressing ethical concern, requiring businesses to establish policies and foster a safe and respectful work environment that upholds the dignity and rights of all employees. Discrimination, which means treating people differently based on immutable factors such as race, religion, or gender, is generally considered unethical and often illegal in the workplace. However, when hiring new employees, decisions are sometimes ethically motivated and driven by the desire to compensate for past discrimination. For example, affirmative action is a policy that seeks to promote equal opportunity and address historical injustices by providing preferential treatment or consideration to groups who have been historically discriminated against. The concept has sparked significant debate, with proponents arguing that it is necessary for redressing systemic inequalities, while critics claim it amounts to reverse discrimination. The primary goal of affirmative action is to level the playing field and promote diversity. Historically, those from underrepresented groups have faced discrimination, exclusion, and limited access to educational and employment opportunities. Affirmative action seeks to rectify these disparities by providing targeted opportunities, such as scholarships, admissions policies, or employment preferences, to help members of disadvantaged groups gain access to opportunities that were previously denied to them. The key ethical justification for affirmative action is the recognition of historical injustice. By acknowledging the systemic discrimination of the past, affirmative action aims to rectify past wrongs and create a more just and equitable society. It seeks to break the cycle of generational disadvantage and create pathways for underrepresented individuals to succeed. However, critics argue that it can perpetuate discrimination by favoring certain individuals based on their race or gender, potentially disadvantaging other qualified candidates. This raises concerns about fairness, meritocracy, and the principle of equal treatment. While affirmative action continues to be used by employers and educational institutions, courts in the United States have put severe limitations on these programs. For example, in the 1988 case, City of Richmond versus J.A. Croson Company, the Supreme Court held that Richmond, Virginia's program that set aside 30% of government contracts for minority-owned businesses was unconstitutional under the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment to the United States Constitution. Many cases on affirmative action programs that allow race to be used in college admissions culminated in 2023, when the Supreme Court ruled that the affirmative action admissions policies of Harvard and the University of North Carolina are barred by civil rights laws and the Constitution. Media ethics. Media ethics encompass a wide range of topics, including journalistic integrity, accuracy, privacy, and the influence of media on public opinion. Journalists have a responsibility to report accurate information, verify sources, and avoid conflicts of interest. Privacy considerations arise when reporting sensitive information or invading individuals' private lives without consent. Media's impact on public opinion necessitates responsible reporting that promotes informed decision-making and avoids undue influence or bias. Environmental ethics. Environmental ethics encompasses the moral principles and values that guide human interactions with the natural world. As the global community faces mounting ecological challenges, it becomes increasingly crucial to educate students about the significance of environmental ethics. By instilling a deep understanding of ethical responsibilities towards nature, students can become informed, conscientious stewards of the environment. Environmental ethics extends beyond human-centered viewpoints and embraces holistic perspectives found in both Western and non-Western traditions. By exposing students to these diverse worldviews, they gain a more comprehensive understanding of humanity's interconnectedness with the natural world. Western holistic perspectives emphasize the intrinsic value of nature and advocate for conservation and sustainable practices. Non-Western perspectives, rooted in indigenous cultures, often hold nature in reverence and emphasize the interdependence of all living beings. Informing students about these perspectives encourages respect for nature and fosters a sense of environmental interconnectedness. Understanding how to use limited natural resources ethically is essential for a sustainable future. Students need to be aware of the finite nature of resources like water, minerals, and fossil fuels. By exploring concepts such as conservation, responsible consumption, and renewable energy alternatives, students can develop the knowledge and skills necessary to mitigate resource depletion. Environmental ethics education equips students with the tools to make informed choices and advocate for sustainable practices in their communities. Environmental ethics also addresses the ethical dilemmas surrounding the exploitation and pollution of the environment. Students must learn about the consequences of unsustainable practices such as deforestation, pollution, and climate change. By exploring the environmental impacts of human activities, students gain an understanding of the ethical responsibility humans have towards the environment. This knowledge cultivates a sense of accountability and empowers students to become advocates for environmental justice. According to holism, every living thing deserves respect, even trees, bushes, and grass. Animal rights and ethics. Finally, an aspect of environmental ethics is the consideration of animal rights. There are various viewpoints regarding the treatment of animals in different contexts, such as using animals for food, experimentation, factory farming, and killing animals for sport. Advocates of animal rights argue that animals have inherent value and should be afforded certain protections. They assert that animals possess the capacity to experience pain, pleasure, and a range of emotions, warranting compassionate treatment and the recognition of their rights to life, freedom, and protection from unnecessary harm. Animal rights may also focus on minimizing unnecessary animal suffering. Moreover, the interconnectedness of humans and animals in ecological systems highlights the importance of responsible stewardship and sustainable practices. Recognizing the value of biodiversity and the ecological roles animals play emphasizes the need to ensure their conservation. However, the ethics of animal rights also face challenges due to the competing interests of humans. For example, the use of animals in scientific research has led to advances in medicine, contributing to human health and well-being. Humans also, of course, naturally use animals for food, leather, and other purposes. Balancing the potential benefits to humans with the welfare of animals is a complex ethical dilemma. In particular, the use of animals in agriculture for food production raises questions about the treatment of livestock and the ethics of factory farming. Concerns about animal suffering, environmental impact, and human health necessitate ethical considerations in developing more sustainable and compassionate farming practices. Thank you for watching our course on social ethics, and we hope you have learned a few things about behaving as ethically as possible.